So CGC just dropped a bombshell, and it's not good. You guys are going to get very angry. Well, not very angry. I don't know. You're not going to be happy. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, not fun at all. Here we go. Let's just get right into it. So CGC changed their prices. Here is the current prices that we have right here. And so as you can see, modern tier is, whatever, $24. Economy's $35. Standard's 80, Express 130, walkthrough is 3%. Okay, I don't know how long this has been the fees, but probably at least a couple of years. So here's CGC's new fees. As you can see right here, it is changing the fees. So right now, modern is $24, and now it's going to be $25. So it goes up $1. Not a big deal. Economy is $35. And it's going 37. So again, not that big of a deal, $2. Standards going from 80 to 85 right here. Express tier, this is the big one. Express tier is being discontinued. So anything over $1,000 is going to go through walkthrough. So yeah. Discontinue submit collectors over 1,000 under the unlimited value tier. What the hell is that? Unlimited value tier. Okay. Oh, that's what. Walkthrough is now unlimited value tier. That's what it's going to be called. Okay. So originally, if you had a Express, it'd be anything between $1,001 to $3,000. It would cost you $130 to do. Now you have to send that through walkthrough or unlimited tier. And you might be thinking, oh, okay, it's only 4%, but there's a minimum value of $150. $150. So that means all those books that you would normally spend $130 to get graded, now it's moving up to $150. And it's also now it's moving to 4% instead of 3%. Like I get the value change because inflation, all that kind of stuff, cost of goods go up, they need plastic, employees, minimum wages, going up. Over here, it goes up like $1.50 an hour every year. So yeah, I think it's like $16.30 here now for minimum wage. So it's always constantly going up. Okay, so I get that. But the percentage change, like 3%, it's always going to be 3%. So as comics get more expensive, you're going to be getting more money. The inflation of comic books, the inflation up there. But now you're changing it to 4%. That's a lot of money to grade a book. So, and I kind of suspected bad things like this happening because of the fact that they got bought out and now they're beholden to these new shareholders and they want to make money. Like every place is doing this, like across the board. Like eBay, what they did instead of raising their prices is they switched out from PayPal and made that a separate company. And then they have their own payment system that you have to pay for, which is, almost 3%. So that's how they ended up getting more money. So they just went to the board and like, oh, why don't we get rid of PayPal and, have it do its own thing and then have our own payment service. So if you're a seller on eBay, you have to use their payment service, which charges you 3% on everything. So they went from 10% to technically 13%. Even though as a seller, I had to pay PayPal versus now paying eBay, same thing. Doesn't really change me that much, but it changed them to the board. But eventually, as time goes on and they start losing market share to other companies and other things, they're going to have to find new ways to make money. And one of the new ways that they're going to try to make money is just raise their fees. So, especially since Amazon in a lot of categories is like 15%, sometimes even 20%. Think about that, 20% to sell things on Amazon. I think they're right around normally around 12%, but a lot of categories are at 15%. So eBay's going to look at that and go like, well, people are used to paying Amazon prices, so let's just raise ours. So I wouldn't be surprised if eBay eventually gets to 12% and eventually 15% and 20% and all that kind of stuff. And here's another thing. Other comic book websites are experimenting with raising their fees too. So it's not just beholden to like eBay and the big companies. I know that Comic Connect has been experimenting with buyer's premium, which I think it's like 15%, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 15%. So now you sell a comic book, you're losing 10% seller fees and now 15% buyer's fees. So, and if you guys, a lot of people are like, well, that's on the buyer. Well, as a buyer, I type in a price of, say buy something for, $1,000. I'm factoring in those buyer's premium, because then they'll say like, you'll click big for $1,000 and it'll be like, 15%. So, it's like, well, your bid now is $1,000, but you're actually going to have to pay 15% more, which would be an extra $150. So now it's $1,150. I'm factoring that in when I'm placing that bid. I'm just like, oh no. So most people do. So they're going to factor all that stuff in. So which means that now I'm going to bid on the book cheaper than $1,000. So it factors in that extra buyer's premium, whatever it ends up being. So that means the seller of the actual book, the person that can sign the book, is actually getting less, because now I'm not bidding as much. So all that stuff factored in. So basically about 25% with Comic Connect. And I guarantee you Comic Link will follow, and everyone else will follow along if they can get away with it. Which, makes my service much better, because we're at 0%. That's right, it's 100% free over at collectorscomics.com. Yeah, right now we've been free for a year and a half. And, we're going to be free the rest of this year, and then we're going to reevaluate things. I mean, eventually we're going to have to charge, because I love you guys, but I can't be working for free forever because eventually I won't have any money. But we'll never be anywhere close to this at all. Not even close. Not even close. But yeah, so CGC is raising their prices. I know CBCS is much cheaper than this now. I think I want to say they're half this price. If I looked at, I remember they're like $70 for, let's see. Okay, so here's CBCS. Vintage. It says max value 7,000. Okay, how do I go above 7,000? Do I have to do an add-on? Any year, any declared value, $200. Okay, so their top tier is $200. But now they're, I guess, 7,000. Well, let's see. In this tier, it's $100 for something that's $4,000, as opposed to now it's $150 at CGC. So it's a 50% jump from CBCS price. And you can even get it slower. That's why I was thinking the $70. So if you're doing something for like $4,000, it's going to cost you $150 at CGC. It's going to cost you $70 at CBCS. But then there's there's the pros and cons of CBCS. My personal dealing with CBCS is the comics graded by them. They move slower. They don't get the same price. I mean, obviously you put in auction, but that's the downside of CBCS. But it's just annoying that now you literally have to pay $150 minimum. And now it's a 4% fee instead of a 3% fee, which is, adds up when you're dealing with really expensive books. If it's a $100,000 book, which I've never had, but if you did, it'd be an extra $1,000. So that's the thing that sucks, especially, as people that have like slim margins on books, it just gets eaten by more fees and more fees and more fees and more fees. So I wouldn't be surprised if eBay raises their prices soon, because that's the thing. It's like you can't be a CEO and go to the board and it's like, times are hard and things are bad. And our stock price is going down. The board's going to be like, you better raise that stock price. And so they're like, okay, we'll experiment with, I think it's 10% right now. So I remember dealing with eBay. I think when we first started, it was like 6 or 7%. And then it went up to, this slowly creeped up. And then it hit about 10%. It was like 9 point something. But they used to give you eBay bucks too. They used to give you First of all, top seller, they used to give you 2% back on your fees, or 20%, sorry. I just look at it as 2% out of the 10. So if fees were like 10%, they would give you whatever, you would get a discount of 20%. Then they changed it down and dropped it down if you're not a power, or if you're top rated, they dropped it from a 20% discount to a 10% discount. So dropped it in half. Then they used to have the eBay bucks. So if you buy stuff on eBay, you get these bucks at like 2% or 3% of whatever your purchase was. I can't remember. And then you get to spend basically free money for buying stuff on eBay. Then they just got rid of that. Now they appear randomly, like a couple times a year. It used to be all the time. So they got rid of that. That saved them money. See, they're trying not to raise fees by getting rid of these other little perks you get. So it's like a top rated seller. You used to get, 20% discount. Now it's just a 10% discount. You used to give free money through eBay bucks. Now that's gone. So eventually they're going to run out of things to cut. So, I mean, they could cut the top rated from a 10% discount to a 5% discount. And that would save them a little money. But I could easily see them just raising fees to like 12%, something like that. And I'm sure that's what they're going to do. So it is what it is. But again, collectorscomics.com, 0% fees, nothing, all 100% free. So let me know what you guys think of this changes. Yeah, it's just, everything is just more and more expensive. Yeah, so it is what it is.